I am so excited.
Run, Forrest, run!
Welcome to the Next Evolution podcast. I want to talk to those of you who are concerned about being stuck in life.
But it's there for you, ain't there for you.
You're trying to figure out, why can I not move from where I am to where I want to go in life?
To do whatever you tell me, drill sergeant.
My spiritual life and my spiritual growth and my spiritual development is not moving me toward the place I want to be. That today begins your freedom. I'm presenting to you the opportunity to move on to the next phase of your life, of your hopes, of your dreams. As I always like to say,
Stupid is as stupid does.
nothing's going to get better until you make some changes and adjustments. And I'm here to help you do that. Here's the truth. There are several steps that you can implement that can begin moving the needle to push you into the place you want to go. Now, I got 3 things that I want to talk to you about, but I want to encourage you to go ahead on and hit that subscribe button. Let's go. Now, research out there says this very important fact that most people only use about 10% of their brain's capability. That most people only use about 10% of the maximum of their potential of what they can become. So that's critical for us to understand, because what it suggests is that I'm not even close to reaching the full potential of the things that I want to accomplish in life, right? So that's important. Here's another fun fact for you, that one of the most critical pieces of getting over these self-imposed limitations is dealing with the fact that there have been things said to us in our past that still have a tremendous impact on our present. Some of us are in relationships and we're living in the past in that relationship, and instead of living in the present and learning from the experiences in our lives, right? In order for you to get beyond the point in your life where you're maxed out, you're tired, you're frustrated, you don't like your job, you hate getting up on Monday mornings, you don't like you don't like your boss, you don't like the people that you're hanging out with. I mean, you just struggle. One of the first things you and I must understand, you have to stop looking at other people and begin doing the thing that works best for you. So in other words, what some of us will do is that we'll look at people on YouTube, or we'll look at people on Instagram, or we'll look at people on TikTok or some of these other platforms, and then we begin to compare ourselves with them. There's a scripture verse that says in Corinthians, 1 Corinthians, that to compare ourselves with other people is not a wise thing. Why? Because we all come from different backgrounds. You come from a different background than I do. You have different life experiences than I have. Hey, some of your talents are better in some areas of life than others. And so for you to compare yourself to me, or me compare myself to you, is not wise. And this is a good bit of wisdom. Not only is it like godly wisdom, but it's true wisdom that you need to focus on reaching your maximum potential, not my maximum potential. The old saying goes like this: if we all took our problems and laid them out on the table, we'll all walk away from the table yet and still with our own problems. You know why? Because our lives, our circumstance, our situation in life has delivered to us these experiences. The universe, God, however you want to put that, has delivered to us these experiences because we have the potential, the fortitude to get over them because of our environment and where we have grown up. So, number 1, you have to do what works for you. Number 2, you got to get rid of the limitations. And that starts with thinking, right? Nothing in the world changes until you change. And here's another key point, free point, right? Whatever is happening on the inside of you is directly reflected in the world you live. Think about that. Whatever that's happening inside of you is a direct reflection of what you see in the world around you. And so if you grew up like I did, and I had people tell me what I couldn't do and why I couldn't do the things that I wanted to do, and I wasn't smart enough, and you would never become anything, but you're just going to be just like your father, you're becoming an alcoholic, and I had all of those limitations that was spoken to me and spoken over me when I was a young man. And whenever I tried to progress beyond that or made an attempt to do, maybe start a business or start a family or get into a relationship, guess what? I could hear in the back of my mind the words of that individual saying what I couldn't do and what I couldn't be. And so some of you who are watching me right now, right? I want you to listen to me carefully, and I want you to listen to me closely. You still are living your life with, in the back of your mind, you're listening to the bad chatter of someone who did not have your best interest at heart. And that's causing the limitations that you are experiencing in your life. It's causing the limitations that you are experiencing in your relationship and in your career. So hear me clearly. Hear me succinctly. You gotta remove the limitations. And one of the key components of removing the limitations is to begin retraining your mind to hear the positive things, positive affirmations in life that will help you begin to live into the person you want to be. You can't do the same thing, Albert Einstein said, and expect different results. If you do the same thing all the time, if you have the same habits all the time, you will get the same results, okay? So again, number one, you have to do what works for you. Number two, you got to remove the limitations, and you start that by you listening to positive affirmations. So I'm going to ask that you pick up this book by John Maxwell called The 15 Irrefutable Laws of Growth. So I want you to pick that up. It's going to be a good piece of work for you. And then number three, you have got to understand that there's more than one way to succeed. Success is not defined by one person. Everybody has a different definition of success. What's your definition of success? What's your definition of success in business? What's your definition of success in relationship? What's the definition of your success if you're raising children? What's the definition of success that you have to maximize your potential, right? So if you define success by what you see on YouTube or what you see on TikTok or Instagram, you're missing out on the many possibilities that are out there for you to succeed. Now think about this clearly. Most of the people that we admire on these platforms, most of the people that we admire in all of these different spaces, they define success in very unconventional ways. As a matter of fact, the road that they took to become a person that many people perhaps idolize and want to be like is because they took unconventional ways to get there.
Some people really ain't down for what you're doing, and what you're doing is setting a trend and a goal and bringing your family out to a whole new direction. And
that's so powerful for you to get, and so powerful and so important for you to understand. You can't get to your destination on somebody else's pathway. There's a scripture verse in the Bible that talks about David as a young man went up to fight Israel's enemies. I am going to go as myself and fight the enemy. And as a matter of fact, he defeated Goliath, not with a sword and not with the armor, but he defeated Goliath with five smooth stones and a slingshot. That we cannot succeed doing things the way other people do it. We have to take roads that are unconventional, that only work for us. This is how we're able to meet our goals and our potentials, right? We have to follow our own path. Here's the last thing that I want to share with you, the fourth thing, okay? Is that you have to begin using spiritual practice and utilizing spiritual practices that work for you. not what works for me. Now, I can refer practices to you from a lot of different resources, which is actually one of the things that I do. I use spiritual practices from many different resources. People used to tell me all the time, hey man, every morning you get up, you need to pray for 30 minutes, and then you need to read the Bible you need to read the book of Proverbs and then the book of Psalms. These are all texts in the Bible, and blah, 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 blah. And this is how you're going to develop your spirituality. Guess what? I found out after 10, 15 years that kind of spirituality doesn't necessarily work for me. But what works for me is writing. What works for me is I like to call journaling, meditation, actually spending 20 minutes of meditation, right? I recommend a book to you called the 5 a.m. Club. Go check it out, 5 a.m. Club, right? I do the 20-20-20 rule. While I work out for 20 minutes in the morning, I meditate for 20 minutes, and then I write for 20 minutes or learn for 20 minutes, right? And so these are the spiritual practices that I found profound for me. And so I'm here to encourage you, to motivate you in order to reach the next place you want to be. Think about it. Imagine with me, for those of you who are watching and those of you who are listening, imagine the life that you want to live. Imagine the place you want to be in life. Imagine the thing that you really want to do, right? Don't think about anyone else. Don't look at people on YouTube, but you need to get into a place of quiet by yourself. And maybe go on a short vacation or a staycation for the weekend. Get alone. Understand who you are as a person, what gift, talents, and abilities you have. Understand that if you have these dreams of being a better person, or of having a more healthy relationship, or getting over an addiction, for crying out loud, you have to take drastic measures. Do what works for you. Stop looking at everyone else. Number 2, remove the limitations by changing your mind. And you change your mind by using affirmations. And then number 3, there are many ways to succeed. Maybe your path is not someone else's path, and what they're doing won't work for you. It's utilizing spirituality. It is a absolute wonderful practice, a wonderful resource in order to rebuild resiliency and to help you become the person that you can become. Listen, family, you can do this. I know you can do this. I want to encourage you to have faith, to understand that where you are can change. That yes, your life is maxed out right now, but you don't have to stay there. And there are people who can help you do that. There are solutions for you to do that. There's some of you who are watching me, and this is lining up with you. What I'm saying to you is speaking to your heart. That is the person that I am gifted, that I have been called and commissioned to help, right? Because what we're all about is personal growth and spiritual growth. Think about your children, right? Their lives can be better because of you. Your marriage can be better because of you. Your community can be better because of you. You can build your business that will influence generations because you decided to step outside the box, to not do what works for everyone else, to do what works for you, to remove the limitations off your life. And you let yourself, your own mind, with the wisdom of some guidance and coaching, point you in the right direction to where you begin to define success on your own. And then you use spirituality as a way to tap and take care of yourself. I like to call it self-care. So my friend, I am so glad that you guys have stopped by to listen. Just because you listen to this entire video and watch this entire video, you are part of this community.
You know why we a good partnership for us? Because we be watching out for one another.
If you share with someone or say, hey man, this is some good information that you can learn from. Hey, listen, you are part of the community, and we want the community to be better because of it. A better place. That's what the next evolution is all about. It's all about a new age of enlightenment through spiritual growth and personal growth. So once again, thank you so much for listening. Please make sure you click the next video that's either here, and I'll see you next time. So yeah, I have chaps. See that? Chaps there. That's a placard. My man, MOK. Love to the people. Oh, the stain's up there. It looks like I'm leaking. God, prayer is important. Anyway, peace.
Always planning the access between water and air, grounded in flight. Spinning my mind, contemplating how we got here. Oh, it's a waste of time. Be my darling.